Objects. We are surrounded by them, but a lot of the time we are not thinking about the design. We are just trying to use them to get something done. In other times, we become hyper aware of them, even when they fail or when they surpass our expectations.
Oh my god, wee!
Today, we are going to examine 3 handheld devices, and we're going to look about the visual design and the interaction to the user. First, let's examine this TV remote. So let's start by looking at the layout. For those of you who don't know what a layout is, let's tackle that a little bit. So, the layout and composition is the foundation of visual design. It makes it easier to navigate from the margins to the side to the content in between. Proximity is one of the basic principles of layout. It's all about using visual space to show relationship to your content. All you have to do is to show related items are grouped together. Groups that are not related should be separated to emphasize the lack of relation by using lines or white space. Now going back in the TV remote, we can see that the buttons are grouped separate according to their relation. Now let's check the contrast. By the way, what is contrast? Contrast simply means that one item is different from another. Contrast can catch the reader's eye, create emphasis, or call on something important. Contrast can be created using different colors, size, or shape of the object, or using different styles of text. Going back to the remote control, we can see its contrast, especially in the power button. Imagine if the power button is grouped with the numbers with the same color. Accidentally hitting the power button while you type a channel would be a problem. Still, the remote buttons is lacking colors and styles of text as contrast. In terms of its physical form, the remote device was not designed to fit in one hand. That's because there's a lot of white space underneath. So if you're going to navigate from the bottom to top, you are going to reach far beyond the capability of your thumb, and that requires a little work. The user will look at the remote, and then the remote will navigate to the TV, and the TV will display to the user. So, fitting the remote in one hand while looking at the display would make it much more simpler. But in this remote, it is hindered because the user will have to move his thumb placement in order to navigate from the top to the bottom or from the bottom to the top. Now let's proceed to the second handheld devices. It is called calculator. So in a calculator, there is no proximity. Numbers are not separated from the operators, and there are only 2 buttons that are in contrast of the other buttons. The reason why it is because the calculator's purpose is to be efficient, while the remote's purpose is to navigate. Efficient, it means to be used fast. Fun fact, did you know that in Japan, they take the calculator very seriously? Let's take a look at this particular video.
This is the office of a Nagasaki-based food wholesaler. One worker here, Asuka Kamimura, is a calculator whiz whose speed on the device is jaw-dropping. Here, Kamimura is comparing sales estimates with actual sales. The estimate total is 901,720 yen. What will she get when she taps in each number? Perfect! Bravo! The Calculator Championship was held in Tokyo. There were 241 contestants, all of them qualifiers from regional events. They have been using calculators for 16 years. Just look at those fingers move. Before a finger leaves a key, the next key is already being pressed. She is making 9 keystrokes per second. The thumb handles 0 only. The index finger covers the 2 rows on the left, the middle finger the middle row, and the ring finger the 2 rows on the right. The little finger is used exclusively for the plus key.
Now we know why the white space in a calculator is evenly spaced. It is for efficient use. But my calculator's arrangement is not for efficient use, unlike what you see in the video, but still it serves its purpose. So all in all, I'm going to give the calculator's visual design a thumbs down, but the interaction design a thumbs up, because the visual design needs some improvement in terms of contrast, but in the interaction design, it serves its purpose to be efficient enough. Now let's proceed to the next handheld device. It is called a smartphone. Now, there are a lot of things your smartphone can do. It can So, first thing first is, how do you open a smartphone? So you can tap the power button, or you can scan your fingerprint. The layout on your smartphone depends on the apps that you are using. The layout is designed well to be held by one hand. This particular button serves many purposes. You can swipe left to go to the recent apps, tap once to go back, and long press to go home. Also, the buttons from the side of the phone can serve as many purposes. Not just change the volume or turning off your phone. This button can also screenshot, can also use the camera, or you can tap it 3 times to go send an emergency call. If I were going to choose between the remote, the calculator, and a smartphone, I'm going to choose the smartphone, because the display and the button is one. So it makes it more simple and efficient to use. We are surrounded by objects, and it's easy to overlook the design. But if you take time to examine, you will see that there is more than meets the eye.